All right. Here we are, Zooming with Dan, Thursday night, a very, very, very wild Thursday night here in Melbourne. And we've had a bit of a dramatic hour, haven't we, Creighton?
We have indeed.
Creighton's power's been on and off and on. So at one stage, you all had to listen to my story, which really would have been a bit silly. Creighton's story is far more beneficial to listen to. And on a completely separate note to this episode, Essendon have just beaten Hawthorn, and I'm a bit hypo about it. We've come from a long way behind, and it's probably a very good thing I'm here in the office and not at home because my wife's a mad Hawthorn fan. So bad luck, Stace.
Danaher
played very well. He kicked the sealer. So anyway, enough about football. We're not here to talk about football as much as I'd love to. Robin Reid last week, we had a really good discussion about palliative care, and it was brilliant to have her expertise and her incredible knowledge on Zooming with Dan, and I was very grateful to have a chat with her. But tonight we do have Creighton Parker. Creighton will discuss his story over the next little while, but I guess I've had the privilege of meeting Creighton a few times now. In fact, the first ever information session I attended when I first started here at M&D Victoria was Creighton's time. That's when he attended the M&D Victoria Information Night when he'd just been recently diagnosed. So a little bit ironic there that we were at that same info night. Creighton is also the guest speaker at our upcoming AGM. And he's the cover boy for our annual report and a few other things. So Creighton is, he's heavily involved with M&D Victoria, and we're very grateful for the time that he gives up for us. But I won't talk too much about that yet because it's all about Creighton's story tonight. So how about I pass over to you and you can tell us a little bit about yourself and the life before MND, and we'll obviously move into the MND journey. So welcome, Creighton, and I'm glad your power's back on there in Blackburn.
Thanks, Dan. We are hoping it stays on.
We are.
Well, it's come on just in time too. I'm married to Judy, and we have 3 children and 3.5 grandchildren. 3 little grandsons, and we're halfway through having a little granddaughter who's due on Boxing Day this year. I worked in a bank for many years, private industry, became a partner in a business in about 2000. That was successful, and I was fortunate and now very glad that I retired at 59. My interests were home renovation, did some property development, a couple of dual occupancies, owned a corner block and developed a dual occupancy, dabbled in a few others along the way. Love playing sport. I played badminton for many years until my knees gave up. And when my knees gave up, I took up lawn bowls. And of course, that's a sport you know well, Dan.
We do have that in common, yes.
And your father knows well too.
Yeah.
Judy and I actually bought a house in Blackburn North in January of 2017. We both grew up in Blackburn. We both went to Blackburn High School, which is where we met. And moving back to Blackburn was like a homecoming, really. We bought a 1970s brick veneer house, renovated it, and started that renovation, fortunately, after I got my diagnosis. So we were able to do the renovation with the diagnosis in mind.
Yeah. I've seen the house a couple of months ago, and it's a beautiful house, and the fact that you have been able to renovate it to suit your ever-changing needs was obviously a huge blessing back then in 2017. So you can whip around in the wheelchair very well. I think we've just lost you there, Creighton, have we? Creighton might have just dropped out here. Bear with us. I might just send him a quick text. Certainly a wild night in Melbourne, and as I said earlier, that we might have had to change tact. Oh, he's gone. Bear with us, and if we can get Creighton back online, we'll jump straight back.